The Swiss philosopher and linguist Jean Gebser, who in the early 20th century would meet and exchange ideas with Jung, explored many of the same questions. While Jung focused more on the depths of the unconscious and the development of the individuated self, Gebser studied the structural evolution of human consciousness. He engaged in a rigorous cross-cultural investigation into the literary and archaeological evidence of human cultures, and developed a framework showing that human consciousness has undergone multiple distinct mutations, each of which fundamentally altering the way we experience and perceive reality. In The Ever-Present Origin, Jean Gebser describes 5 different consciousness structures, the earliest being the archaic, followed by the magical, mythical, mental, and integral structures. Each of these represent a distinct mode of perceiving and relating to reality. Each of these structural mutations has enriched our experience of reality by making available new qualitative dimensions for human consciousness. As Gebser and many others now believe, human consciousness is again undergoing such a mutation, that being the shift from the mental perspectival structure toward the integral structure. We'll have more to say about that later on. Rather than simply being past historical epochs, succeeding structures build on the previous ones, becoming latent within us. For example, the magical structure constitutes an egoless, timeless, tribal group identity, broadly attributed to Stone Age cultures prior to the Neolithic, although timelines between structures are more of a gradient rather than a sudden shift. When we lose ourselves in the psychic energy of a crowd, swept up into the rhythmic bass of a rave, or in the mob mentality of a protest, we are descending into the deeper parts of the psyche which constitute the magical structure. In moments like these, the ego loosens its grip, and the powers of a collective group psyche hold sway, for better or worse. When a new consciousness mutation begins to unfold, the preceding structure becomes deficient. This is an important distinction that Gebser makes. Each of these structures has an efficient and deficient mode. When a structure is working efficiently, it is disclosing new aspects of reality and opening itself to the world. When it is deficient, it begins to lose its power and close itself to reality. A potent example of this is the Spanish Conquest of the Aztec Empire. This wasn't just the clash of 2 civilizations of differing strength. It was the collision of the magical, mythical, unperspectival attitudes of the Central American Aztecs with the rational, technological, perspectival attitudes of the Spanish conquistadors. The Aztec Chronicle of Bernardino de Sahagun perfectly summarizes the nature of this confrontation between the deficient magical mythical and the newly emerging efficient mental structure. Quote, "The Mexican king Montezuma sends other sorcerers who were to cast a spell on the Spanish. The soothsayers, the magicians, and the high priests likewise went to receive the Spanish, but it was to no avail. They could not bewitch the people. They could not reach their intent with the Spanish. They simply failed to arrive." Authentic spellcasting, a fundamental element of the collective consciousness for the Mexicans, is effective only for the members attuned to the group consciousness. It simply bypasses those who are not bound to or sympathetic toward the group.